Welcome.
And off we go from Denver. And no run back here on the opening kickoff as we'll start at the 25. So here's the Viking offense making their way out. Bringing them out, a guy who's top 30 all-time in yards and touchdowns. Not bad for a fourth-round pick back in 2012. Captain Kirk Cousins.
Every quarterback in the NFL has a little bit of his own signature style out there, but for this guy, he really plays the game in a different way. This led to a couple double takes from us up here as we see him as something truly unique. This passer or the best athlete to ever play the position. He just has a certain way of seeing the action, and it allows him to make some special plays out there.
They'll come up now 2nd and 4 from the 31. Going to run with Madison again. And he'll be brought down shy of the 40 at the 38-yard line. Another 6-yard carry, same as last play. First down. Throwing is Cousins. And his throw's going to be incomplete.
But when you're going up against a talented receiver like that, you just know that they're going to bring more people to him, right? They're going to double cover him every chance they get.
I think that is what we're going to see all game long. An early taste of that double, maybe even sometimes triple coverage we might see.
Yeah, I think what they're counting on, his talent to sometimes beat.
Now the hit comes, and Cousins lost the football. It's picked up by the Broncos. And they will take over at the 26-yard line. And without a doubt, not the way they pictured that opening drive unfolding.
No, they were making progress. They weren't exactly in high gear, but they were making a few yards along the way. And now that they've coughed it up, you got to go back to the sidelines and regroup a little bit.
So now here are the Broncos with excellent field position to start off. They'll be led out by their 5'11" quarterback from Wisconsin by way of NC State, and that's Russell Wilson.
I tell you what, when he's on schedule for that week, secondaries take notice because you've got to stay alert back there on every snap. A truly powerful arm, one that's capable of challenging any level of the defense on any given play. That's why so many scouts preach arm talent when preparing for the NFL draft. A quarterback with arm strength to make every throw in the book, he's an asset to have in any offense.
It's a 7-yard carry to set them up with a 2nd and 3. Pretty effective run there, and now they can start to smell that end zone.
Pound the rock. Make sure you use your O-line to set the tone of dominance and physicality, and pound the rock.
And all the way to the 2-yard line there before crossing over out of bounds. Now they'll have it 1st and goal following that gain of 17. Interior of that line blocked really well on that run, but also the 2 tight ends, they blocked well too.
Not only have they scouted the line of scrimmage, with their agility, they can get upfield and hit moving targets like linebackers, defensive backs. They do a really good job helping out the running game.
And he will take it in for a Bronco touchdown. Javonte Williams taking it in from 2 yards out. And the Broncos take the early turnover and convert it into an opening touchdown. Some good running there at the end of the drive. He had the burst that set up the 1st and goal, and then one play later, he's in the end zone.
Brandon, what I liked about that sequence is I'm not sure who made the play call, but they understood the situation, understood the momentum. A nice hard-charging run, give it right back to him, and let him cap things off.
Lutz with the extra point, and it's now a 7-0 game. Scoring summary, 3-play drive. And it was capped off by a Javonte Williams touchdown. After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. And no effort to bring this one out. It's a touchback. And the Vikings taking the field here for their 2nd drive of the game. They had the fumble on the last drive, wound up leading to the opening touchdown. Now they'll try again here, 1st and 10. They'll start on the ground with Madison. And not a whole lot of room to operate there on the 1st down run. He gets maybe 3.
Well, that's just a pile of bodies there, and that's when you kind of find out who's a tough guy, right? Who can stand up and make a play. It was only a 3-yard run. That feeling like, okay, I can stand up when the going gets tough in here.
Cousins. And this is going to be incomplete.
Anytime a ball is thrown in the middle of the field, it's popped up in the air, I expect someone to catch. It doesn't matter whether it's offense or defense, because there's usually a great amount of bodies in that part of the field. In this case, no one came up with it.
Now Cousins. He'll be brought down by the Broncos. It's a sack. He couldn't get away there on third down. The pressure too much, and he's sacked for a loss of 12.
Okay, I'm not sure you could actually draw up a better pass rush than that one right there. Nowhere to go outside. He had to keep backing up and backing up and backing up. Eventually dropped for a huge loss.
So on fourth down, Ryan Wright on to punt for Minnesota. And Marvin Mims deep for Denver. Fielded at the 43. And now off to the races down the right side. And he's going to be out of bounds all the way down inside the 15. He had his sights on the end zone, no doubt, but is brought down after a huge return there. And this offense is going to be set up with a 1st and 10 inside the 15. Now a 1st and 10 at the 11. They give it to Williams, running right. And he's going to work this one down to about the 5. 7 yards on the pickup there, and it'll leave him with a 2nd and 3. The success there, Charles, coming on the outside of the field, the ground game. Curious to see if that continues as we progress.
Yeah, we often talk about a variety in play calling, and usually between run and pass.
And Williams is in for a Denver touchdown. A great effort there with his 2nd touchdown in this opening quarter. And the Broncos are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. So 2 drives, 2 touchdowns here in this first quarter, and he's got both of them.
Well, he's certainly setting himself up for a big game here, and I think if the play caller doesn't get in his own way, they should keep riding him the entire way of this game. Until the defense proves they can stop him, that's what I would call.
Lutz good on the extra point, and it's now 14-0. Well, that drive started with not a whole lot of real estate in front of them. In plus territory, excellent field position. 2 plays later, pay dirt. After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. And this will not be returned. It's a touchback, and they'll begin at the 25. Now the Vikings offense gets set to take over here. Still in the first half, but this offense has struggled. Haven't really been able to get anything going, not only in the points category, but in the yards category. We'll see if they can do better here on this drive. And from the 25, they work this to the 29, a gain of 4.
That's a good job there by the corner. We do talk about this a lot, that a lot of corners see their job as simply covering receivers. Tackling isn't everyone's thing. But in this case, he came up quickly
behind the line of scrimmage. Now they're going to be dealing with a 3rd and 7. Is that one officially a loss of 1?
They have 3 tight ends in that formation. That's almost a universal sign that they're planning to run the football.
And he's out of bounds, able to take this one up to the 35. Will go down as a gain of 6, and it'll be 4th down. And here's Ryan Wright now as he'll kick it away for the 2nd time. Fielded at the 20. They take over 1st and 10. Now a 1st down carry. It's Williams. And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down. 2nd and right at a yard. Well, they're making a real first quarter statement with a run game, no doubt.
For those who remember old school football, running it, establishing things, seeing backs find holes, get through them, they've got to like what they're seeing from this unit so far. Right now, they've decided to, as you've said, establish the run game, and they've
And all the way home for a Broncos score. Javonte Williams doing it again with his third touchdown here in the opening quarter. And the Broncos take a 3-touchdown lead. But Charles, what a start here for them in this game. Still in the first quarter, a sizable lead and pitching a shutout on the other side is their defense.
The game plan is certainly in effect, isn't it? Working awfully well on the offensive side of the ball. They keep compiling points, and the defense playing with a lot of confidence and shutting them out thus far.
Lutz with the extra point, and it's now 21-0. 21-0 our score after one. Second quarter about to begin from Denver. It's the Broncos in possession of the football as they've got it as we resume action. Lutz now to kick this one away. And he'll just sit on this one as their drive will start at the 25. Minnesota's offense takes over possession. And this, you'd hate to say that a drive in the first half must end in points, but you're down 21-0. They're going to have to get something going fairly quickly.
I would agree totally with that, because if you're going to mount the comeback, it's going to have to come in bits and pieces. It doesn't just all come at one time, right? We haven't seen anything more than a 6-point touchdown ever in this game, right? So that's how it has to be done. Get points on the board now. Start your comeback. But you're exactly right. Let's get it going right here in this spot.
Sacks, a growing theme in this first half. This is 2nd and long. To throw is Cousins. And that one off the mark behind him. Incomplete.
They've given him some different looks here defensively in the early going. He's only hit 2 of his first 5 passes. With a big 3rd down coming up, he's hoping he's got a play dialed up that can take advantage of whatever the defense throws at him.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. Going underneath, he's got Hockenson. It'll be a gain of 5, and that's going to make it 4th down.
So much about this game is just understanding situations and then having to execute, isn't it? Guard the first down sticks. Don't let them get there, and they rallied and made the tackle.
Now here's Ryan Wright now as he's on to punt for Minnesota. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. That's pulled in at the 32. And now the rookie's free. And he will score. Touchdown, Denver. Officially, it'll be a 68-yard punt return score. And the Broncos are able to add on to their first half lead.
When you got a guy that fast back there to receive punts, that's a nightmare for the guy game planning, the special teams coach, but it's also a nightmare for the punter. Sometimes they get so nervous that they miss-hit the ball and kick it right to him.
Lutz good on the extra point, and a rout is on here in this first half. Well, it's no secret. That's why they have him return punts. He has the capability to take them back, and he did so there. So after surrendering the punt return for a score, let's see what they can do in turn on this kickoff. And no thought to bring this one out. He'll just go down to a knee, and they'll take over at the 25. The Vikings head out to take over once again. And right now these guys, they're shuffling a little bit, maybe doubting, because 3 straight drives have ended with them punting the football away.
Yeah, so you start pointing fingers at
Now the hit comes, and Cousins lost the football. It's picked up by the Broncos. And they'll have great field position here as the ball will be at the 15-yard line. He already had the 1 fumble loss, so now 2 fumbles lost here in this first half.
not setting the pace the way that you want it done. I mean, here in the first half, already twice the ball's come out and hit the turf. Got to find a way to take care of it. Otherwise, they may have to start thinking about maybe someone different at that position.
Javonte Williams and the rest of the Bronco offense back out onto the field. He's been good. His guys are winning. So far, the recipe working here in the second quarter.
And he doesn't like to just tote the rock. He wants to carry his team on his back, and that's what he's done.
And he'll take it into the end zone for a Denver score. Javonte Williams on his way to a historic performance. 4 first-half touchdowns. And the Broncos open the lead up to 34-0. Lutz to try to add the PAT. And he's been a busy man, 5 for 5 now as he knocks another one through to extend the lead. Well, they got the ball in great field position. One play later, boom, end zone. After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. And there will not be a return here. It's a touchback, and it'll come out to the 25-yard line. Now the Minnesota offense set to take over again. Last time out, they had the fumble. That led to the touchdown. Not a great look on either side of the ball as the defense gave up the points too, Charles. But they've got to take care of the football and do better here on this possession.
It's certainly been a tough stretch, partner, for both of those units, and they kind of put their defensive mates in a really tough spot there by dropping the ball on the ground. But an easy way to make it up to them, get out there now and get some points on this drive.
Play action now. Cousins. Oh, he tries to force it in, and it's intercepted. And he's just across midfield and down at the 49-yard line.
Brandon, this is a veteran quarterback back there. He should know better than to make a throw like this. This is definitely not his best ball, and I think he knew this was trouble the second it was leaving his hand.
Here's the Denver offense now as they get set to take over here. Well, everything right now that they touch on this side of the football, it seems to turn to gold. They've scored on 3 straight possessions. That lead continues to grow. And, I mean, if they can get points here, Charles, might almost be an insurmountable comeback for the other side.
I think you make a great case for that. So I'm going to flip it over to the other side. Could they make the big comeback? Certainly. Am I expecting it? Not at all. I think if we don't see a drastic change in how they're playing, this blowout's going to get bigger and bigger before the final gun.
Williams going to get it again on second down. And the stop here will come at the 38-yard line. 2 yards, good enough for a first.
2nd and inches is oftentimes an invitation for an offense coordinator to take a big shot downfield because he feels like he can come back on 3rd down and pick up the first down. But sometimes you just don't want to break tendency. Stay with what you are, stay with who you know, and go get the first down. That's exactly what they did.
Down at the 35, it'll be 2nd down.
Give credit to the defense for stringing that play out, and they gave up no cutback angle. You know he's trying to dart through. No place for him to go. A nice job there, only giving up a 3-yard gain.
On 2nd down, Williams. And he's going to be stopped just short of the first down marker at the Vikings 28. 122 yards on the ground for him now with 4 touchdown runs tacked on. And we've hit the 2-minute mark in this first half of action. We remind you that coming up at halftime, Jonathan Coachman will be alongside. He'll have highlights and analysis from Orlando of this first half of action. They'll try and run for it. Here's Williams. Well, they hit him in the backfield, and he will not escape. And that is not going to get it done. He lost 2, and it brings up 4th.
And that's what I'd like to see out of this defense. A little fire, a little toughness. It hasn't been the best first half for them, but they did do a nice job there, forcing a loss on that play.
Here we go with Williams. And finally, down he goes as they work it inside the 10 to the 7. Wow, 1st and goal, and defensively, all they can do is shake their heads. Not only did they allow the conversion, but a big play as well. Remember, that was 4th and a full 2 yards. There's a big difference between that and 4th and maybe 6 inches or a yard.
Yeah, you're exactly right, because when it's at 6 inches, You just fall forward and you pick it up, right? You just go quarterback sneak. But having to move bodies, that means you actually have to execute because they know what you're going to do. How are you going to make the right play call and get everyone into the right spot and win at the line of scrimmage? That's what they did there.
And he's going to pull his way down to about the 1-yard line. It's a good pickup of 7 yards, and now they're looking at 2nd and goal. Williams will score. Touchdown, Broncos.
Well, he's been the workhorse on this drive, and it would have been unfair to bring someone else in to finish the job. So they go back to him again, and he delivers with a touchdown run.
Lutz will look to add the extra point. And the route is on here in this first half. So that drive in total 8 plays. And it was capped off by a Javonte Williams touchdown. After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. And they'll put up the stop sign there as his guys will get it at the 25. The Minnesota offense about ready to get this next drive underway. Things for them, just to put it bluntly, man, it has been tough sledding here in the first half, facing that big deficit. The clock is dwindling now. Maybe on the board here before intermission, they'll have at least a little momentum heading into the second half. Sacks, a growing theme in this first half. This is 2nd and long. Here's Cousins. And his throw's going to be incomplete.
And this drive is almost over before it began, thanks to a great defensive effort. Sack on first down, followed by an incompletion. One more good rep, and they get off the field.
This time they stay on the ground. And they'll indeed stop him on 3rd down. And now what do you want to do with your timeouts? Now the Broncos going to use the 2nd of their timeouts as the clock will stop with 18 seconds to go in the first half. And here's Ryan Wright now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. Taken right about the 40. It's a 39-yard punt, and good coverage means a loss on the return. And control of the football switching hands with very little time remaining until the half. The Broncos onto the field, ready to start their next drive. And with only 9 seconds remaining, well, not much time, we'll see how they play this. He's got him in, complete. And all the way home for the Broncos score. Marvin Mims in the final seconds of the first half. And the Broncos will extend their lead here just before halftime.
And that's a lead that excites a team as they head into the half. Good way to finish things off.
Yeah, able to extend that lead, and you always say it, that can totally change the complexion of half number 2.
Yeah, it changes your morale, changes your outlook. But even before that, let's see if they decide to kind of squib kick or what they're going to do on the kickoff, because you don't want to give up a big play right before the half ends.
Good point. Final play of the half, it's Wilson. It's caught at the 1, but he is not going to make it into the end zone. They stop him short, so they'll add only 6 as we come up on halftime.
Will Lutz set to kick off.
So still time for the kickoff here. 1 second to go in the half as this one is away. And they're going to mark that where it went out of bounds. So really good starting field position up past the 40-yard line. So now the possession will begin at the 35 after the errant kickoff.
Well, that's certainly one way to avoid a dangerous kick returner, I suppose. But you are giving up extra yardage, that's for sure. Because if you put it out of the end zone, they start at the 25. So at a minimum, you're giving up 10 yards to the offense.
And he'll be corralled out across midfield down to the 45. So we're at halftime here in Denver with the Broncos. Out to Orlando and hook back up with Jonathan Coachman for our EA Sports Halftime Report.
All right, Brandon, back to you two in just a bit. But first, welcome everyone to downtown Orlando and our EA Sports Halftime Report. It was former Tar Heel Javonte Williams with a solid first half. He somehow wound up finding the end zone 5 times on the ground already. So he is already in shouting distance of all-time record territory. Final adjustments being made for the second half. Whether they'll amount to much in a game that's already pretty well decided, well, that's another question. Nevertheless, let's get you back out to Brandon and Charles.
All right, Coach, thanks very much. Fine work as always as we welcome you back for quarter number 3. Broncos with a lead, and they will be receiving this kickoff here as quarter 3 is underway. From his end zone, Marvin Mims. And they'll get him down right at the 25-yard line, so the same result, and he opted for the touchback. And the Broncos offense set to begin this third quarter. Well, this offense, this team, they are rolling right now, Charles. They've scored on 3 straight possessions. You look at the scoreboard, and they pretty much right now got this thing on cruise control.
Yeah, and this is that time of game where you and I have to be prepared, right? Isn't this kind of like that empty the bucket time where you have to go into your blowout material and make sure we have some different things? That's what we're staring at right now, the way this one is going.
And he's going to have the Broncos first down as the tackle made here at the 36. He had a really solid first half running the football and picking up where he left off here in the third quarter.
How about the yardage he's piling up right now? This feels like a full game, not just this series that we're watching right now. I know people are screaming, where are the adjustments from halftime on the defensive side of the ball? Sometimes they're just not there. Sometimes you just have to find a way to tackle.
Look at this, middle of the field, a breakaway. And this defense just being manhandled here to start the drive. Good push up front, 2 big runs. This one 18 yards and another first. It's been an excellent day for him running the football, no doubt, as he continues to soar well past 100 yards.
Yeah, it almost feels like he can just grab his briefcase and head home after putting in a full day's work at the office, doesn't it?
From Viking territory now, they'll come up 1st and 10 at the 47. They'll stay on the ground with Williams. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. Play 3 of the drive not as successful. They go backwards after those 2 first down gains. Looking at a 2nd and 11 now after the loss. Here's Wilson to throw. And that's going to be caught by Sutton. And all the way home for a Broncos score. Cortland Sutton, 48 yards. And the Broncos have got it on cruise control. Boy, another score. This lead gets even bigger. And Charles, we haven't even hit the 4th quarter yet.
Well, forget the deficit, right? They're really not going to cut into that a heck of a lot. But how can they get out of here with some dignity? Can they get a stop or 2? Can they make a play on offense themselves? Anything to start to feel better about what's happened to them here in this one.
Lutz with the extra point, and the lead grows even larger here in the 3rd quarter. After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. And they'll put up the stop sign there as his guys will get it at the 25. It's the Vikings' turn on offense. We get ready for their first possession of the second half. Cousins and the Vikings with a 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. Going to begin the drive here with Madison. And he's got some space here. And this will be a Vikings first down as he's able to get this up to the 37-yard line.
On any explosive run, you can almost feel the ground shaking, and that's from the offensive linemen creating space for their runners. I had an old coach tell me before that he always told his runners, run around the offensive line in pregame. Get used to the ground shaking so you don't trip and fall when it happens in a game. And those two just haven't been in sync thus far. They've done a nice job against him, but still, with his talent, you would expect them to have more completions to him in this game.
And the pressure too much that time as Cousins goes down. They'll wind up losing a full 9 yards here on the sack. Now it's third down.
So one quick, easy analysis about why they've struggled so far. They keep putting themselves in third and long situations. They just took another sack right there.
And the offensive film session tomorrow may be a little longer than it normally is.
Not a lot of positive grades will be handed out thus far.
And the pressure gets to him again. Multiple rushers break through to drop him for the 7th time this game.
This offensive line flat out cannot handle this pass rush. We've seen it demonstrated time and time again to the tune of 7 sacks in this game thus far.
And here's Ryan Wright now as he's on for the 5th time here today. Call that a punt of 38 yards officially. And the Broncos take over. First down and 10. Denver's offense now set to go. This drive here beginning probably with a pair of motivated groups. Remember, the offense scored a touchdown on their last time out. Looking to repeat that in Charles's defense. They were very frustrated after giving up 6 the last time on the field.
And frankly, it's just a battle of wills in a lot of ways because you know they're both motivated. They both game plan for this drive, and they both have specific outcomes in mind. To me, it just comes down to who can execute better and which side can step up and assert its will over the other.
At the 43-yard line.
Williams going to get it again on 2nd down. Now he's loose again. Javonte Williams. And he is into the end zone for a Denver touchdown. Javonte Williams, 57 yards. And the Broncos just continue to roll. Well, I'm just not sure what more we can say about him after that one.
But we're certainly going to give it a try, aren't we? Because I believe we're watching greatness personified. It has not mattered all game long where they've handed him the football. He's taken it and found the end zone. He is so locked into that so-called zone, I don't think they're going to get him out of it in this one.
Lutz good on the extra point. And the lead grows even larger here in the 3rd quarter.
Broncos 62, Vikings nothing. Will Lutz set to kick off.
After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. And he'll just take a seat, and the drive will begin at the 25-yard line. And the Vikings now heading onto the field. Well, we're still in the 3rd quarter, so there's some time to kind of clean this up and make it look more respectable. Now, a win, that's probably gone out the window, Charles, but I don't know. Do you look at this as a time to just improve and maybe start to look towards the future?
I think you have to find something to play for, something to grasp onto until the clock runs out. But, Brandon, we've been around this game a long time. This is an outlier. You don't get many blowouts like this no matter how has turned out to be everyone's worst nightmare realized.
The result, only 4 yards there on the play. And now that sets up 3rd and 2. They'll come to the line, needing only 2 yards to gain the first here. Cousins on 3rd and 2. And the Broncos get there and take him down. Looks like a 9-yard loss. And it also brings up 4th.
You can just see it in their body language. They're starting to see victory on the horizon now, and if it comes to fruition, they got to give a game ball to the front 7. Defensive line has taken charge and controlled this game. Face a challenge of stopping this opposing offense, and they've done so with ease.
So they're forced to punt on fourth as this one's away. Fielded just inside the 30. And he will score. Touchdown, Denver. A 71-yard punt return. And the Broncos are able to extend their lead in the final seconds of this third quarter.
Well, it certainly feels like that kind of game, doesn't it? No matter what they do, it's going to work. That might be the absolute crusher right there. A punt return for a touchdown.
Feels like there's been a lot of crushers in this game. This lead just gets bigger. They'll look to run for him with Williams. And they are just not going to let up as he is into the end zone here for 2 more.
Personally, I'd rather see him kick the extra point there than to go for 2, but it almost feels like there's a story within the story here. I mean, this isn't college. You know, size of victory, that matters in those games. Here, all you have to do is win by 1 point. That's all that you need. Instead, they go for it, get 2. You got some pretty ticked-off folks on the other sideline now.
So after the punt return touchdown, let's see what their opponents can do with this kickoff. And this will not be returned. It'll come out to the 25. And this should be the final play before the quarter ends. They go play action. Cousins. And he's going to lose yardage here, as they will switch ends as time is run out on this third quarter of play. 3 quarters have come and gone. Welcome back now to Denver. And this is a blowout so far as we get set for the fourth quarter. A very one-sided affair. Got to imagine the pass rush will be equally intense here on second down following the sack. It's 2nd and 18.
Meanwhile, Cousins' throw pulled in by Jefferson.
Yeah, that's good for a gain of 6, and that's going to lead to a 3rd and 12. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. They're tackling them almost on the spot. That means you have to run extra.
And the pressure too much that time as Cousins goes down. The defense rising to the challenge and setting him back on the sand.
But one thing I do know, these guys on defense, they don't want this game to end. They're winning by multiple touchdowns. They've shut down the opposing quarterback in a big way, and they're still picking up sacks as we approach the end of this one.
And here's Ryan Wright now as he's on to punt for Minnesota. And he'll take it on this side of midfield. And he's loose again. And he will score. Touchdown, Denver. That'll go as a punt return of 53 yards. And the Broncos add another 6 points to what's going to be a blowout victory. As that lead just swells and swells. Look, this has been dominance in all 3 phases, offense, defense, and special teams.
So don't we have to give a lot of credit, not just to what we've seen today, but the preparation in advance, coaching staff, commitment by the players to the game plan, and being ready to go in this one? You're exactly right. Clean sweep. And, boy, they're going to celebrate this one after it's over.
And on the other side, this is the game film you just flush and never go back and review. So after surrendering the punt return for a score, let's see what they can run back here down to a knee, and this drive will start at the 25. And the football going back to the Vikings offense. Well, it's been a struggle so far for this offense, Charles. It's not only that they haven't been able to put the points up, but really stringing yards together has been a real issue for them in this one.
I'm so glad you brought up the yardage because I was thinking to myself, we've seen a lot of NFL games and we've seen our share of lopsided contests, but in almost all of them, Both offenses have put up at least 200 yards in a game, but not in this one. This has been a display of offense that, frankly, I think the two of us have watched from behind our hands, trying to spread our fingers wide enough to actually see the result.
A gain there of 21 yards.
First down, Vikings.
On 1st and 10, Cousins. Over the middle and complete to Addison. And taking it across midfield and inside the 45. A good gain again. That's now 31 yards combined on those last two plays. So a 1st and 10 now in Denver territory at the 43. Cousins. He'll be brought down by the Broncos. It's a sack. Baron Browning getting him once again his 3rd sack of the afternoon.
Well, it's obvious, but I can't help but say it here. It's never a good day when the opposing defense has more sacks than you have points. The win seems likely, but this defense is still playing for something here. They see that 0 on the scoreboard, and they don't want that to change.
Well, they're in some hot water now. After that sack, it's 2nd and 21. Working out of the gun, Cousins. Throw caught there by Osborne. And they'll get to him after a gain of 7 to the 47. And now they'll stop play here, at least momentarily. A member of the Vikings in some discomfort after that last play. This offense so far on 3rd down, as bad as you can be. 0 for 7 thus far. This is 3rd and 14. Addison hauls it in. And he can only get this to the 42-yard line. And that is not near enough. Give him a gain of 5 on the completion. And that's going to bring up a 4th down. And here's Ryan Wright now as he's on to punt for Minnesota. He'll send this one into the mile-high air, and it's a good one. It'll be called just a 22-yard punt. Certainly not what he wanted. And it'll be 1st and 10 Broncos from deep in their own territory. Well, the football going back over to the Denver Broncos. Well, they don't really need the points here, Charles, given what we're looking at on the scoreboard. But they've scored on 3 consecutive possessions, 3 consecutive drives. And I'm sure that they would like to keep that streak going here and continuing to pour it on.
And things have gotten that way in the NFL, haven't they, partner? Because in the old days, people would, they'd get off the gas a little bit, right? But now, people continue to accelerate. But we'll see what they decide to do as they come out for this one. But the way this game has gone, they've got to be awfully happy with their execution overall.
Now 2nd and 9. They'll try and run down some clock with Williams. There he goes left side. Now look out, Javonte Williams. And they're going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their totals. They seemingly just continue to score at will. And as great as it's been for the offense, you got to feel for that defense down there.
I love how you use the word will, because both teams came into the game with the will to win. But one team has obviously imposed its will on the other and broken them. Because what we're seeing right now, wow, that's a defense that's in tatters after what they faced in this ball game.
Lutz to try to add the PAT. Now this one was over a while ago as they just add on to their big lead. So 2 plays on that scoring drive. That's how they drew it up. And a long run into the end zone, and what a run it was. After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. And he'll very wisely take a knee here as they'll bring this one out to the 25 on the touchback. The Vikings offense now, they get ready to head back on the field. And let's face it, this drive is not going to have any bearing on this game, but it's kind of important for one reason, isn't it?
It certainly is. You got to get points. And okay, all right, I'm being facetious here, but you get points, you feel a little bit better about yourself as you move on to the next one.
Throwing on first down, but this one winds up to be incomplete.
And that's another play that's painted the picture of this game overall. It's been a blowout. It's been continually fueled by big turnovers and stops for one side and an inability to advance the ball from the other.
And the Broncos get there and take him down.
The pressure from multiple guys there as they bury him for a big 9-yard loss.
Guys with his talent in the pocket aren't supposed to be getting hit like this, and you know an intense conversation with the offensive line is going to occur after this one. Might not be from him, but the offensive line coach will have plenty to say about this game.
Now the Broncos are going to call the first of their timeouts as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. So now after the sack, Cousins and the Vikings come up here 3rd and long. He'll look to throw. Oh, the pressure too great, and he goes down once more.
Dropped for a loss of 7 by multiple defenders.
We all know he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league, but definitely not today. His team trailing by multiple touchdowns and a late sack. Just a parting gift from the defense for him to take back to the locker room with him.
And here's Ryan Wright now
as he's on to punt for Minnesota. That's a 43-yard punt, aided as well by a loss on the return. And that will come the offense as they take over. And Denver getting set to take the field.
Well, CD, you and I do a lot of games together, but it is pretty rare that we do a game of this margin. I mean, this has just been total domination from start until now, and I don't think they're going to take their foot off the gas at this point.
Do you think some jokester said to one of his teammates, maybe a few of them, hey, we're up 50. Why not go for 100? You think maybe that line was uttered on the sideline? I can't believe what we're seeing here. An NFL game this lopsided.
After the loss to start out, here's 2nd and 11. Oh, Wilson going to throw. And he bats it away, and it falls down incomplete.
Up huge on the scoreboard, and they're still trying to add to their total. That shot doesn't connect, but I don't think it'll dissuade them from attempting another one.
Off the play fake, here's Wilson. He'll let this go deep for Sutton. He's got it at the 15. And he will get into the end zone. It's another touchdown. This thing is ugly.
Well, this is long since over, and some might see this as overkill. But remember, this is a team that puts on the hard hats, grabs the lunch pail, and tells everyone, we're going to give you a full 60 minutes. And that's exactly how they're playing this one out.
Wilson and the Broncos offense going to stay on the field. They'll go for 2.
They'll look to throw. It's complete, and he will not make it to the goal line as his try for 2 is going to come up empty. But that's little consolation to this defense as they have been porous all game long.
Set to kick off.
After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off.
And it'll come out to the 25 as he will not attempt a return.
Now the Vikings offense works their way back onto the field.
Well, I hate to say it, but at this point, I don't really know that they're playing to win with this deficit in the 4th quarter. They're just trying to erase that 0 on the scoreboard, Charles, and get some type of momentum to carry into the film session tomorrow.
If you get any type of points on the board, it'll count as a moral victory, although no one will talk about that in the post-game press conference. That's not something you mentioned in the NFL. And this loss, it already stings and will for a while, but everyone on that offense knows it'll sting a lot worse if they don't put some points up on the board.
He'll be blocked. sack. Now the Broncos will use their third and final timeout. It'll be their third and final timeout, so as they talk things over, we'll step aside. Cousins to throw it. And that went to the right side and incomplete. Well, the trials and tribulations of being a quarterback in this league, it's tough. It's got to be wearing on him out there.
Well, he has been sacked a number of times. He had an interception, so I'm going to give him a skosh of credit for hanging in there and trying to make something happen, despite the amount of pressure he's been under this entire game.
Let's take it at around the 40. For the winning team here, Charles, that's about as big and clean of a win as you could hope for in the National Football League. No turnovers. Meanwhile, you forced turnovers. You didn't allow any points, and you put up a bunch of points. What an effort.
And, Brandon, I just have to ask you, that's all the stuff that we saw happen today. Those are statistics, numbers, the whole deal. But my question is, how does one team come ready to play, and the other one, obviously, not ready at all?
Well, I mean, I obviously don't have an answer to that, but that was the story from the get-go. One side was awake and ready, and the other just seemed asleep. That'll do it for us. For Charles Davis and all our hardworking crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin. You've been watching the NFL on EA Sports. For more, find us on Twitter at EA Madden NFL. The Broncos are winners as we say so long from Denver.
Microphone unmuted. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. Peace.
Thanks for watching. Like, thumbs up, comment, subscribe and share. Victory hand.